let's try it. I'm filming right now.
Okay.
So hopefully.
Hello.
Wow.
It's very close.
It's right there. Yeah.
Is it working out? There it is. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Humor U's September comedy show. We're super glad to have you guys out here. Get ready for some laughs, for some fun times. I will be your MC. My name's Carter. I'll probably also occasionally be glancing at this book. That is for announcements and other things. Yeah, we're super glad to have you guys out here. Just so you know, basic rules of thumb. Laugh out loud, obviously. It makes our job a little bit easier and it makes it a little bit more fun for you guys too. So, without further ado, we'll just get right into it. All right. So my buddy was talking to me the other day, and he said, listen dude, if somebody put a gun to my head and said, do algebra, tell my family I love them. I don't really care how bad he is at math. I'm more interested in who's holding the gun. Like, whose MO is like, I really gotta get people to be better at math? Who is this hypothetical, enigmatic figure that's running around and quizzing people on basic spelling, math, and geography problems? Kind of sounds like if the Joker took the US education system into his own hands. It's not about the spelling, it's about sending a message. Spell I cup. I'm convinced pilots are homeschooled. Because why else would they interrupt me over literally nothing when I'm watching my movie? You know what I'm talking about. You're sitting on a plane, you're trying to enjoy it, and they pause you and ladies and gentlemen, we are now at a cruising altitude of 30,000 feet. That's your job, dude. Word, we even saw you do it. I don't know what they're looking for on that, like validation? It feels strange. I think it's interesting. Pilots are always trying to like interrupt you with that stuff, but they always have the same voice. It's that like morning voice vocal fry that's like vaguely reminiscent of Calvin Harris's When I Met You in the Summer. You know? When I met you in the summer, remain seated and fasten your seatbelts. I don't understand why they do that. That's gotta be fake. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if they interrupted your movie constantly. It wouldn't be so bad, the interruptions, if it didn't pause your movie every time they did it. And it's over nothing, too. They'll be, ladies and gentlemen, we are now 4 hours from our final destination. I'm incredibly lonely up here. That's the real reason I'm talking to you. My co-pilot's been passed out this entire time. Don't worry, that's standard procedure here at Frontier. I'd much prefer to be back there with you guys, watching movies, eating snacks, feeling companionship. Anyways, make sure you set your clocks, which I don't know why they always tell me the local time of the place I'm going to, because I've never once had to do that. My phone does it for me automatically, which proves that they're just desperate for validation. Because like, I'm sitting there trying to enjoy Hotel Transylvania 3, obviously, and then, boom, this is your captain speaking. I just gotta come clean. The voice that I was doing before was fake. It's not my real voice. They teach us that in flight school. It's a coping mechanism, because this is a very lonely job. What are you guys doing? Oh, by the way, we did hit a patch of turbulence, so I'm putting the fasten seatbelt sign on now. I don't want to be alone with my thoughts anymore. Which is crazy, because like, dude, just press the button, you know what I mean? Like, You just press the fasten your seatbelt. You're not going to tell us all that unnecessary extra information. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, unfortunately, we don't care. Did you guys know that there is a place called Milford, Utah? True story. Checked it out. Name doesn't hold up at all. Real quick question. What's the plural of Gatorade? You're telling me Magic Johnson did what with the gator? Nah. No, I've seen him play. He at least has Powerades. Family trips are just excursions plus intermittent fasting. Yeah, they're about as pleasant as mountain sports. They're miserable, expensive, and you're hungry the entire time. And then when you finish, you go, I want to do that again. One time my family and I, we were in Disneyland. We're waiting for a parade so I could see Lightning McQueen. And while we're waiting for the parade, we've been waiting like 1.5 all rights reserved hours to get food. My dad goes to the corner, he sees that there's a shop that doesn't have a line, he comes back, he goes, great news, I found food, no line, all you have to do is sign here on the dotted line in blood, and we'll go right to the front. That's the only other way if you don't have Genie Plus. At which point, basically cut to us in the back alleyway of Disneyland, okay? Family of 6 huddled around in the dirt, voraciously eating a single loaf of bread. This is the happiest place on earth. And we're just huddled around, voraciously eating this loaf of bread. And I'm sitting there and something comes to me. Riff raff. Street rat. I don't buy that. And as if my moment of despair wasn't bad enough, of course, Aladdin and Abu around the corner. And I'm like, oh, somebody who can relate to my plight, right? He goes, Abu, don't make eye contact. If you do, you're going to have to give them something. Then Lightning McQueen comes up the road, right? He goes, wow, you missed the parade, rat people? Ka-chow! My wife told me to cut that part from the stuff, but I just really like it. So all of a sudden, Sewer Grape pops up, Remy the rat, he goes, no, don't just hork it down. To which his dad responds, food is fuel. If you're picky about what you're putting in the tank, then your engine is gonna die. So shut up and eat your garbage. Just a normal Disneyland experience. I don't know if you guys saw, but they recently just changed the filtering settings on Mutual. You can now filter by political compass. I know, kind of crazy, right? Kind of nuts. Makes sense. I'm just looking for a communist girl. Yeah, you know, someone who's got the we, us pronouns. So I was in New York recently for a school trip, and while I was there, New York is, anybody from New York in the audience, raise your hands if you're from New York, cheer, make some noise. Okay, you're from New York? Forget about it. No, but it's just this perfect intersection of magical and traumatizing. Coming home for the night, and this dude like jumps out of an alleyway. He like jumps me. He like pulls out a gun on me. It's okay, you can laugh. I'm obviously okay. I'm here. He jumps me. He like points the gun at me, and I'm like, okay, now what? And he goes, spell Mississippi. Okay, awesome, thanks. That's my set. Okay. Next up, we have one of our newer comics. He is great, he is funny, he talks really fast, and every 5th word he says is in a Bostonian accent. It's Colin!
There's no flag in here, so I don't really know where to look. So this summer, I just went to a random college lacrosse game because watching women beat each other with sticks is It really does it for me. And before the match started, they played the national anthem. Of course, there wasn't a real band or anything. They just blasted the bass-boosted kazoo version out of the stadium speakers. But I'm not sure why this surprised me, since it's not like I hadn't been to a sporting event since middle school. But I took particular notice this time, and it got me thinking, why do we have to listen to the national anthem before every single athletic event? I mean, I get it, big things like the Olympics, or the Super Bowl, or whenever missionaries play pickup basketball. But do I really need to listen to the 6th grade choir do a rendition in my friend's cousin's dog's Little League game? I mean, sitting there in the middle of March, on the bleachers they somehow sculpted out of ice, is not my idea of a good time. And it especially doesn't help when the 10-year-olds who never even bothered to go to elf practice are holding up the game with their own special version of God Save the Queen. Sorry guys, I get a little worked up about that. We need to calm down. Let's talk about something else. Music. Music calms me down. Who here likes the song Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne? Yeah. I'm convinced she wrote those lyrics in under 10 minutes. I mean, the first line is, he was a boy, she was a girl, can I make it any more obvious? Yeah. Avril, I bet you probably could. I mean, you have given me next to no information. My English professor would be crushed. All you've done is establish very flat and basic characters. What is this, Twilight? He was a boy, incredible. She was a girl, transcendent, my liege. And then she has the audacity, the gall, the absolute cheek to look down on everyone else, a being of higher intelligence who can understand the plot, even explaining how obvious it is to her. Don't worry though, she deigns to give us a little more information in the next few lines. He was a punk, she did ballet. He wanted her, she wanted him. Classic tropes here. But then some confusing, concerning things start to happen. Suddenly he's both a punk and a skater boy? Pick a lane, Avril. And then out of nowhere, there's a 5-year time skip. She is a kid, and he's a national superstar? Where were these character arcs? I feel like we skipped a couple verses. Anyway, she goes to the show, makes her bad decision, and then Avril decides, screw it. Not only am I going to introduce a new character with no background at all, I am also going to write the rest of the song from her perspective. This is where she loses me, and I turn the song off. I've never actually finished it, because every time I try, my head starts to hurt from all the brain power I'm using just trying to keep up. People like to listen to music to relax, but Avril is out here creating the inception of early 2000s pop. I mean, why on earth did she have to go and make things so complicated? Thank you, everybody.
See you later, boy. Awesome. So our next comic is Cindi. She is very funny. You guys are going to love what she's got to give to you guys. Excellent in delivery. Watch her facial expressions. Very good, all in all. Okay, that's all I have to say about that, and now I'm going to end this run-on sentence. Okay. Cindi!
So you guys know those people at Fast and Testimony meeting who seem to talk about everything besides their faith in Jesus Christ? Yeah, it's like they're just telling jokes and telling stories. It's like, okay, you clearly need another outlet for getting attention. Anyway, so after my bishop told me that, I decided to come here. So over the summer, I was a door-to-door salesperson. Do we have any summer sales bros out here? Yeah! Oh, yeah! Okay, so there's more than one of us that hate our lives. Good to know. So here's the thing about sales, and you guys can probably vouch for me. Basically, everyone who does sales, every time there's always going to be this one guy who tries to give like a motivational speech about like finding your why. And this is how it goes. He's like, you guys, you need to find your why. Because if you're just out here for the money, you're not gonna make it. Wrong, okay? We're all just out here for the money, okay? The only why I'm concerned about is why you keep trying to gaslight everyone into being passionate about pest control, okay? We're all here for the money. I'm pretty sure none of us are out here getting verbally abused by soccer moms for 8 hours a day because we like it. Besides maybe Travis, but he has issues. You know, I think summer sales pros, they get kind of a bad rap, but you really can't blame them, because it's like every sales training is basically just like a reverse sexual harassment training. They're like, so you're gonna get out there, you're gonna knock on some doors, and they're gonna tell you no. But they don't really mean no. No is code for convince me, you know? They're gonna say not interested. Not interested, that's what we in the industry call a smoke screen. And what do we do with a smoke screen? We just blow right past it. And did you guys know BYU has an ADHD club? Yeah. As someone with ADHD, I'm a little skeptical that someone else with ADHD had the sustained focus to start a whole club. I'm pretty sure it was just started by some dude trying to find the Adderall on campus. You're not tricking me. Like, do I look like a drug dealer to you? If you think I look like a drug dealer, you're racist. That's Anyway, so the Queen died. I texted my ex-boyfriend because he's British, and I was just like, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. All my friends were like, Cindi, why would you text him that? That's so random. You haven't talked in like 6 months. And I was like, guys, can you have some sympathy, okay? This is his second queen he's lost this year. I was the first. I have started circling back to ADHD. You know, a touch of does it. Anyway, circling back to that, I just want to make sure we're all clear. I did have ADHD before it was like cute and trendy, and it actually really bothers me when other people act like they have ADHD, like, oh, I have ADHD, I'm so quirky, LOL. I'm like, oh, do you? Do you really? Name 5 of your symptoms. That's what I thought, Jessica. I have started doing this fun thing where I just blame all of my character flaws on the fact that I have ADHD. So, like, my therapist tells me the other day, hey, Cindi, you know, I think you kind of have a hard time taking responsibility for things. Like, you have a tendency to, when someone gives you a piece of constructive criticism, just blame it on something you can't control. And I said, oh, maybe that's an ADHD thing. Do we have any old people here tonight? Okay. If you're a single woman over the age of 21, you should have cheered there. I am an old person myself, but you know, I don't mind being single because you get really fun stories, like the one I'm about to share. So the other day, I matched with this guy on Hinge, right? And he messages me and he's like, hey, I have some extra crumble, like crumble cookies. Crumble is in cookie. And I said, and he says, do you want any? And I said, heck yeah, dude, because number 1, crumble cookies are delicious, right? Number 2, this man had a facial structure such that I was not banking on the personality when I swiped right. And so I say yes, and then he unmatches me. So I'm confused, because why would you match with me, ask me if I want crumble, and then immediately unmatch me after I say yes? Like, was this a dirty dough sting operation? Like, what is going on here? I'm confused, and then I'm irritated, and then I realize this is my villain origin story. Which is crazy, because I've already had like 5 villain origin stories. But anyway, I need some answers, but I can't message him on Hinge because he unmatched me, basically. So he's gone forever, or at least he would have been, were it not for the fact that I remembered 3 vital pieces of information. His first name, his job title, and his place of employment. So the thought occurs to me, how many Chads can there be that work as a member experience specialist at the Vasa Fitness in Orem, Utah? 30 seconds on LinkedIn told me there's just one. And so I have his LinkedIn profile, which means I have his last name, which means I can find him on Instagram. But Cindi, why didn't you just message him on LinkedIn? Because I'm not about to slide into some man's LinkedIn DMs, okay? I'm not insane. So anyway, after scrolling 3 years deep on his Instagram, I decided to message him. And I say, hey dude, what's up? Like, why would you match with me, then ask me if I want crumble, and then after I say yes, you unmatch with me. What's up? 5 hours later, I get a response. He says, hey, I'm really sorry, it's just, you called me dude, so I thought I was in the friend zone. I was like, dude, I call everyone dude. I'm from Southern California, okay? Dude is our aloha. It means hello, goodbye, I love you, father my children. Read the context clues, man, okay? Like, Hinge is a dating app. I live in Utah. I'm 22 years old. My biological clock is ticking. I'm not out here to make friends. And so he says, I feel really bad. Is there anything I can do to make it up to you? I was like, yeah, you can bring me some crumble. And he did. So, the moral of the story, did I find the love of my life? No. But did I get a full box of crumble cookies? You bet your bottom dollar I did, and that's a win in my book. So thank you, everyone.
– 3 years? That's like pretty deep. That's like pretty deep for crumble cookies. I feel like you could have just made cookies at that point, but maybe it's just me. Our next comedian is Parker. He's my friend. We're in the same program. He has really rad hair. See for yourself.
I'm so excited for this, holy cow. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, it feels so good. My gosh. Okay, well, now that I'm all happy and stuff, I get to talk about my work. That's great. I work at the admissions office at BYU. Now, every time that I tell somebody this, they go, oh, so you're the guy that decides who gets in and who doesn't. And I always tell them, yeah, that's actually how I got in. It works. Yeah, I love the admissions office. Well, I mean, love is a strong word. It's more accurate to say I work at the admissions office. Yeah, it's honestly kind of boring. Until decisions go out on applications, then it gets interesting. Because the number of angry parents that we get, the number of angry parent calls we get, is almost zero. It's not a lot, actually. But when we do get one, oh my gosh, you guys, the drama. Ooh. I got this one mom to call me, and she said, hey, if you don't let my son into this school, I will stop paying my tithing. Honest to goodness. Which, thinking about it, is not really going to help your case with our office or his office. So I rethink that plan a little bit. Man, I'm not allowed to say any mean things to people on the phone. I mean, I think about it a lot late at night by myself. Just coming up with the sickest comebacks for all these mean people. One of them I'm working on right now is, if your GPA was on the Richter scale, we wouldn't even feel it. Yeah, I'm not allowed. I'm glad y'all like that. I'm going to save that one for an opportune moment. When I'm sick of the job, I'm going to drop that one in bounds. That's good. I'll keep that in mind. Well, no, what I'm actually supposed to tell them is that the application process is a holistic review, and that we don't know exactly why they didn't get in. Which, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. Most of the time, I know why they didn't get in. It's a pretty good indicator if I can count your ACT score on my fingers. Just saying. One thing I am also allowed to tell them, actually, is that they're totally free to apply to BYU, Idaho. The verbal equivalent of somebody asking for a bowl of ice cream and me handing them a tall glass of milk with ice cubes in it. I don't know if you can tell, but they don't like to put me on the phones a lot. I can go off at any moment. So I mostly deal with processing transcripts. You guys want to know who has the worst transcripts in the game? University of Utah. I am not even lying because of the campus I'm on. It's awful. Formatting is inconsistent. The credits are never added up right. Their football team sucks. Their transcripts are unreadable. Thank you. Something has to be done. The other thing is that half the time they just send us transcripts for people that aren't even applying to the school. I would bet my admission to this school that half the transcripts we get from University of Utah are from dead people. There is no way Cecil Weaver's finished her undergrad at the cool age of 117 years old. There is no way. That's okay though. I like to come to this building to kind of cool down after work, you know? I get a little riled up. I like to hang out in the basement. You guys ever been in the basement of this building? They have They have a bunch of like theses on display for okay, theses is the plural for thesis, don't make it weird. They have a bunch of theses on display for people to look at, and I mean, I don't think anybody ever reads them. I mean, I don't even think the people that wrote them read them. They are full of typos, actually. And I may be wondering, how do you know they're full of typos? Well, unlike Cindi, I did come here to make friends. So, yeah. One of the theses that I was reading, entitled Examining Limbic Sexual Dimorphisms in Schizophrenia, riveting stuff, by the way. There's a sentence in it, about halfway through, that ends with the word "and." Who does that? I mean, ignore that I just did that. Who does that? In another one of these thesi, somebody put the number 3 in the middle of the title, which after my thorough run through and annotations, it's not supposed to have that number. One of them just wrote it on Magic the Gathering. Like, straight up. They're just writing whatever they want because they know nobody's going to read these. The Honor Society can't keep getting away with this. This is my official submission to get into the Honor Society. I know I won't contribute very much to the university, but at least I won't finish my sentences with the word "and" in anything that I write. I think I'd be a pretty good pick for the Honor Society, actually. You know, like kind of a wild card to throw them in there, mix it up a little. You know, I could go to conventions with them, shake people's hands. Oh wow, it's an honor, it's an honor. I don't know what honor students do. My only issue is that this building is a little bit too fancy for my taste. Have you been to the bathrooms here? Exquisite. Okay, they've got couches, they've got like lanterns, they have windows in this building. Unbelievable. I feel like one day I'm gonna round the corner and just hear, "Fancy seeing you here, Potter. There's not even a Taco Bell in this building." And I'll just go, "Shut up, Malfoy, you've got typos all over your thesis." Pulls out my wand. Dyslexia. Thank you, guys.
We love Parker. Parker's awesome. Parker's actually the only reason that I'm here at BYU. Our next comic's name rhymes with silly and Billy. It's Lily. Everybody give it up for Lily!
Hi guys, I'm Lily. No? Okay. Thank you for the couple people who got that started. I just transferred from the University of Arizona. Okay, bit half-hearted, guys. All right, you don't have to lie to me. But yeah, just transferred from the U of A. Been noticing a few differences between the U of A and BYU. Probably the biggest is the amount of cocaine people are doing. Yep, they're doing cocaine at the U of A. And they are pulling that stuff out at parties like Mormons going for the apples to apples. Don't know if you've experienced that, it's kind of wild. Which I do say, like, I've been to a lot of parties. Full disclosure, I went to one party. I went to one party at the U of A, they were doing cocaine, and then I left. Didn't leave because of the cocaine, though. I left because as the only sober person there, I didn't know what to do with my body, so I just started cleaning the apartment we were in. Just kind of went for a brew and was like, I'll make myself useful, I guess. At one point, I started just doing the dishes, because I was like, I guess this is the best use of my time. Then I left. Didn't actually know cocaine was illegal at the time. Something nobody really tells you. No one ever told me cocaine was illegal. And up until about Probably a year ago, I thought the whole campaign was dare to do drugs. Did not know we were supposed to be resisting them. That's a whole new spin on it that I've never heard, so that's great. Really, kind of what it boils down to about me, though, is I'm just not really like a terms and conditions kind of person, you know? Not reading all that. Not super observant, not really like a problem solver. Everything that I've ever listed on my resume under relevant skills is a complete lie. It is a lie. But I'm a really great employee if you're in the crowd and you want someone to work for you. I do need work, I do need it. So yeah, that's cool. I have been to the Walmart Supercenter every Saturday for the past month and a half. Coincidentally, have also needed hangers for the past month and a half. I have circled that Walmart Supercenter every Saturday for the past month and a half, and every Saturday I have left without my hangers. Can't find them, and I'm not looking up anything on the Walmart website, not asking employees what I'm doing, and let me explain this to you again. I am circling the Walmart Supercenter, and then I'm leaving the Walmart Supercenter, shocked every time that there are not hangers in my cart. And it's gonna work one day, it's gonna work, they're gonna be hangers in there. I'm gonna be able to hang up my clothes, because they're on the floor right now. I don't really have dreams anymore. Not like aspirational ones, guys, come on. I want to do things with my life, so. Like weird, like wacky dreams is what I'm talking when you sleep. I just kind of had dreams about me like accomplishing normal human tasks. Had a dream the other night that I bought a toaster and then woke up to the unfortunate reality of holding 2 forks over an open stovetop with Eggos stabbed on each one. So that's how I'm living, and it would probably make more sense if I was doing cocaine, so.
I love that Lily was like, you know, I dream about normal human tasks. You know, like stabbing Eggos through forks and holding them over the stove while I sleep. All right, word. Our next comedian is Tyler Bevan. Everybody get up with Tyler!
You know, I'm so excited to be part of this show today. I'm a big believer in the healing power of comedy. You know, I know a lot of people come to these shows for an escape. You know, maybe it's an escape from your schoolwork, an escape from your job, an escape from the law. You know, nobody knows what happened before this. You know, maybe you went through a really messy breakup, things didn't work out, or a really messy break-in, the police were called, you've got to get out of there, your position's compromised. Next thing you know, your arms are full of contraband and you're booking it down the street. You see there's a comedy show going on, you decide let's hide in plain sight, you sneak in, and then suddenly you're on stage telling jokes. It's just a hypothetical thing that could happen, maybe. But yeah, was that relatable to anybody? Any criminals in the audience? Anybody commit crimes? Yeah. Get 'em, boys! That's right, I was undercover. That wasn't real contraband. Yeah, you can't trust me. You don't know what I'm gonna do. But if there are criminals in the audience, you do legally have to leave. We cannot have the cops busting in here and ruining another show. It just won't work. I mean, after Lily's insane drug party, we cannot have an investigation going on. But we're not here to talk about our checkered past. We're here to tell jokes, and I actually have a few for you. I've written out some punchlines I want to try on y'all. I just want to see if they're good punchlines. I didn't end up writing the setups to them, but I just want to check, make sure that they're good punchlines before I put any more work into them. So the patient says, more like reverse psychiatry. Okay, so that one's really good. Hey, what's the big IKEA? Okay, so that one's really strong. Magic trick? More like tragic Mick. I guess that one's a lot more funny if you knew my friend Mick. and just sort of his general life story. Actually, shout out to Mick in the audience. Yeah, but Mick, I was serious before. You do need to leave before the cops arrive. I was trying to be subtle, but it just doesn't work. Speaking of places where Mick doesn't fit in, let's talk about the sexiest man alive. And no, I'm not talking about me. No, I know I'm not the sexiest man alive. Do you think I would have tried comedy if I could instead just be hot? No, there are 3 ways to get dates. You do comedy, be hot, or know cool animal facts. I chose my path. I know what I'm doing. I'm not good at animal facts. Do you know, did you know that your average house cat can pounce with enough energy to destroy a watermelon? Yeah, that's not true. I made that up. I chose my path. I told you this. Doesn't work. It's not a very good animal fact. It's not true. But I just made you imagine a cat attacking a watermelon, and that's dang funny. It's also adorable. I'll send you the video after the show. No, but we're talking about the sexiest man alive. And the Sexiest Man Alive is an award given out by People magazine every single year. And it's probably the most popular thing they do, the biggest thing they do. It gets a lot more publicity than the Sexiest Dead Guy. That one's not quite as big, especially because it's always Lincoln. So it doesn't get as much fanfare every year. But I think that's partially my problem with the Sexiest Man Alive, is that it changes every year. And the Sexiest Man Alive changes every year. I mean, I know beauty is subjective, okay? It's like comedy or animal facts. It's all made up by humans. But did the guy from the last 12 months really age that badly? To the point where you gotta sit him down and say, listen, we're taking it away from you. Listen, last year you were in the prime of your life, but you're 28 now. Things are going downhill from here, and you've got to give up the mantle to someone else. And no one's spared. It's like clockwork every single year. It's like teaching defense against the dark arts. Like, the position's cursed! No one's lasted for more than a year! Hey, Tyler, why don't you do more impressions? Because they're not very good, Mom. Shout out to my mom in the audience. But I think my other problem with the Sexiest Man Alive is that there's 4 billion men on this earth, and you're telling me the most attractive one every single year just so happens to be a big name celebrity you can put on the cover? Little odd. I have some questions about your methodology there. Because, really, they should be trekking the world, trying to find the sexiest man alive. And instead they just throw in whoever's the latest Marvel actor and call it a day. Like, they should be searching the world. They'd be like missionaries, except they do the rejecting. Hi, we're people. Do you have any sexy men? Oh, you're the only man here? Okay. Sorry, we're just not interested. I mean, that'd be the easiest job in the world, you know. It's just people watching and process of elimination. And because it's People magazine, it would be people watching. And because we read it, it would be people watching people watching. And because I'm telling y'all about it, it's people watching people talk about people watching people watching. And the people watching this video at home have already skipped past this part, because this joke is going nowhere. But oh boy, let's see if I remember where I end. No, they could eventually announce, you know, this year's Sexiest Man Alive is Moses Zhao. Yeah, any Moses Zhao fans in the audience? Anybody know that guy? Yeah, he's a sewage worker in Liberia. Yeah, not a celebrity, but he's really, really good at moving sewage. You might know him from his new movie coming out. Yeah, he's in the background of a documentary about unsafe working conditions. And if you don't know him now, you're going to know him later, because, listen, until some terrible sewage action goes unless some terrible sewage accident happens, which is shockingly common if you watch the documentary. But until a terrible sewage accident happens, this will be the designated sexiest man alive. And once a terrible sewage accident happens, we'll finally have someone to compete with Lincoln. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Our next comic, he's new to the club. We love him. His hair is very curly and fun. His name is Calvin. Give it up for Calvin.
Okay. So I used to work at Five Guys, and people always ask me what are the names of the other 4 guys. And I'm like, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That's not a Bible joke, those were just actually their names. Yeah, the work was pretty bad, but the pay was actually also pretty bad. It was real character building though. So one time I'm working fries and this guy walks in. Oh, hey, how's the fry guy doing? And I say, oh, not bad, how about yourself? And he says, fat and ugly. I'm a stranger. How does he expect me to respond to that? But I mean, hey, the commute to work was actually really nice. I'm from Washington. Anyone from Washington out there? 5 people, awesome. So you think of Washington, you know, the commute just passing by like these like green trees and lush forests. But I'm from Eastern Washington, so instead picture passing through like sagebrush and tumbleweeds. They're real, by the way. You know, in high school, every door had a sign on it that said like nut-free zone and like a picture of Mr. Peanut behind bars. Where did all those go? I don't know if it's just the healing power of the spirit or if no allergic people made it into BYU. I pictured Parker reading someone's transcript. Okay, valedictorian, student body president, 4.6 GPA. Can of hazelnuts though. Yeah, not at BYU, sorry. I bought some hand soap at Costco the other day, but for some reason all they had was like Christmas themed hand soap. I know it's only September, but I think they're just getting ready for the nightmare before Christmas. But, you know, I was pretty skeptical at first, but I'll tell you, after the first whiff of frosted peppermint, I was more festive than I'd ever been in my entire life. I made 5 gingerbread houses in 3 days. I started drinking hot chocolate already. It's 80 degrees outside. That's dangerous. But I think the worst thing of all is my Spotify Wrapped for the year just went completely out the window. Normally it'll say like, oh, you're in the top 1% of listeners. Now it just says you are the top 1 listener for Mariah Carey. And that's my time. Thank you, everyone.
You probably thought I was going to sing. I'm not going to sing. It's a joke. I don't know if he meant to do this, but BYU is a nut-free zone. Double entendre. All right. On to the next bit. Here we go. All righty. Okay, so our next comedian, her name means happiness. She does not like being called Velocity. Try it, see what happens. Try it, just call her Velocity after the show. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right, everybody give it up for Felicity!
What goes on in Delaware? Like, what are they hiding? I have never met a single person from Delaware, and I've been 3 times. And every time some somebody says anything about Delaware, it's, oh, well, it's the first state. Oh, so it sucks. If you have to specify that if first is your only qualifier, that means this sucks, but I tried. There's a lot of things I like being about a first child. Being a first child means you get to see the whole story. Like, yeah, we love each other now. You don't know about the milk incident. And you never will. My parents were super strict growing up. No Harry Potter until you read the books. So my kids can't watch Star Wars until they've completed Lego Star Wars Saga on the Nintendo Wii. There will be no Baby Yoda until True Jedi is achieved. I was told once that when you're raising a kid, as they grow older, girls become more difficult and boys became less so. And in my family, that's not true at all. In my family, we are difficult the entire time. Maybe if you combine someone with 11 siblings and someone who emails instead of texts, you get 6 different versions of crazy. I have 3 brothers, but only 2 of them are interesting, so I have 2 brothers. Their names are Miles and Max. They are 12 and 14, and the reason my mom has a blood pressure issue. Miles is 12. He told me he wants to be an uncle by the time he's 13. And with 6 months left, he's provided me with some adoption agencies. Miles is a writer and an animator, and told me if I didn't promote his YouTube channel, I would never meet his future children, Wyona and Athena. He's been riding with his mom since he was 4 years old, and at 5 years old, he did it all by himself due to creative differences. Max is a different kind of artist. Max is a disaster. I'd call him Hurricane Max if my sister's name wasn't Katrina. Max's mediums include weed killer and barbecue sauce, and his canvas include our back porch and my sleeping brother's chest. After 2 years, we are still trying to get the word cheese off of our fireplace, our lawn, and my sleeping brother's chest. Here's the best way to describe my family. At 2 years old, Max jumped through the window and on the roof, and Katrina ran through the hallway and told me not to tell Mom. I set the pace, though. When I was 2 years old, my mom had to call poison control on me 3 times. And as an adult, I've called poison control on myself 4 times. It's called growth, guys. I burned a hole into our carpet before I could even walk. But as I've gotten older, I've moved on to breaking and entering multiple times. When some people are too confident, they speak out of turn or they say something stupid. When I'm too confident, I commit crimes. Both excursions have very many similarities. They both were caused by me assuming I was supposed to be somewhere I wasn't. This is why I struggled in middle school. Both times I realized my mistake by the looks of others' faces. This is how I know I struggled in middle school. But the difference was in the ending. The first excursion, it ended with a scowling college student in a towel. But the second time, there was a nice family with a cake and a golden retriever. So given this trend, I can only assume that the next time I commit a crime, I'll get some sort of cash prize. It actually turns out that the family was full of flat earthers. So I guess they also didn't know where they were. That's my set, thank you.
Awesome. How we doing so far? How we doing? All right, we're gonna do some quick crowd work. Who here's seen National Treasure? Actually, we'll do it all together. National Treasure. What's the name of the ship? Shout it out. The ship at the beginning of the movie. Come on. Charlotte. Charlotte. And what lies with Charlotte? Come on. You said it. Somebody said it. Say it louder. The secret. The secret lies with Charlotte. Our next comedian is Charlotte Rolfs. Everybody give it up for Charlotte.
Praying that boys that are definitely not into me won't kiss me in front of my roommates simultaneously gives them a spiritual experience and makes them think I have a lot of game. Have you ever noticed that people are only woke for things that they relate with, which at BYU is like the left-handed community? Like, we can't do anything about racism or sexism, but a whole row with only one left-handed desk? Let's just burn the whole university down. And same thing goes for like Android users. Like, just because you don't have an iPhone does not make you a minority. And like sleep-deprived freshmen with an 8 a.m. class, like you literally and figuratively made that bed. Now it's time to lie in it. When I was a freshman, I worked at the Blue Line in the Tanner building. And one of my coworkers sold a sandwich for $42,957.23. That is not an exaggeration. That actually happened and the transaction went through. And what's flabbergasting to me about that is like, that's not accidentally hitting too many zeros. Like, that was a conscious choice to just keep adding more numbers. Like, people say, like, you should study business and spend a lot of time in the Tanner building if you want to earn a lot of money. But I think we should just take that girl and make her the CEO of the whole thing. You know how at the testing center, they say, like, you can only use number 2 pencils? Who has ever even owned a number 1 pencil? And if they're like alluding to like the stereotypical connotation of number 1 and number 2, like gross BYU potty humor at the testing center? I feel like we're better than that. Also, how would you even use a liquid pencil? Like, I don't even understand. Have you ever thought about the phrase like the birds and bees? Because last time I checked, birds and bees neither do it together nor are incredibly sensual creatures. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Does anyone else get like immense anxiety whenever you have to do one of those like I'm not a robot quizzes, where they'll like show you 9 pictures of grass and traffic violations, and then they will wreck you for not seeing a kayak in the back of a safety zone catastrophe. Belgian waffles are just normal waffles with a pretentious name. Which just taught me an important concept, which is if you want to make something sound bougie, just add a place name to the front of it. Oregon peaches. Swiss cheese. BYU Provo.
Awesome. Our next comedian, his name's Justin. He's a friend of mine. Be very nice to him because he's very, very funny. Let's give it up for Justin.
R.I.P. Eddie. Baby, rock on for him. You ever seen one before? So I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. I know I'm surprised too. And I want to share a few quick little thoughts I had with you guys. If you book the gym at the church and someone is using it when you get there, that's cultural hall appropriation. If you steal someone's statue, that's sculptural appropriation. If you see someone wearing glasses, but they don't actually need them, there's no lenses, is that visual appropriation? I wouldn't know because I have perfect vision and I would never slight the visually impaired community like that. We actually have a rule in my family. You can either have perfect vision or all your fingers. It's one or the other, never both. Fun fact, if you need glasses, your eyes are not actually visual learners. If a vegan is mad at you, do the two of you have beef? Is that allowed? Is there some kind of plant-based alternative slang of which I'm unaware? Hey, did you guys see the latest Olivia Wilde quinoa? Hey man, I'm still mad at you. We still got tofurkey. Speaking of protein, anybody have a favorite kind of peanut butter? Anybody? I prefer GIF peanut butter. I don't know if you guys know this, but the inventor of the GIF, he actually pronounced it GIF. That's tragic. He was smart enough to invent it, but too dumb to pronounce it. I'm glad to know you're on my side. We don't have to worry about that anymore, though. There's nothing he can do about it. Why? Because he's dead. That is true. Actually, earlier this year, he did sadly die. You guys should have seen his gravestone, though. It was awesome, because it was just like his name, and then like a gif of him opening the jar of peanut butter. And he's just saying, "It's Jim." I think the word fiancé is the most arrogant word in the English language. And I'm not saying that just because I'm single. Even the most humble person you know would sound arrogant saying fiancé. My fiancé and I were picking out our wedding colors when our butler forgot to bring us our caviar. At least that's what I hear every time. I think people put so much emphasis on it because they only get to say it for a short amount of time, especially in Provo. I don't even think the word exists in Rexburg, though. And being in your 20s, though, you go to a lot of weddings. I'm sure you've all experienced, you get the same questions from the people you haven't seen since the last wedding. Well, dating, school, work, yada yada. I got a pro tip for you single people, though. If you go to enough weddings without a +1, people eventually stop asking if you're dating anyone. So they may think you're a loser, but at least they're not trying to figure out why anymore. Weddings aren't all bad, though. There's a lot of I love free food, obviously. It's okay, you can't laugh at that. I'm aware. Also, who doesn't love dancing to the cha-cha slide or and the Cupid shuffle for 20 minutes straight? Cupid shuffle is the same thing over and over again, except for that one part, you know what I'm talking about? It's like, to the right, to the right, to the right. And then that, like, 3 minutes in, it's like, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. You don't want to mess that up and look like an idiot. Also, what is up with the cha-cha slide? I never know how many stomps or hops it's going to be. It could be 1 stomp, 2 stomp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hops. I'm pretty sure every time someone presses play on the cha-cha slide, there's a random number generator that just goes through. I do think the cha-cha slide would be a much better sobriety test than what we already have. Imagine a cop on the side of the road just, cha-cha now, y'all. I mean, walking in a straight line, you can do that easily. If someone can memorize the alphabet backwards, but I would challenge any drunk person ever to do hands on your knees, hands on your knees. No way to stand upright. Also, I must admit, it was only a few weddings ago that I realized that they're saying right foot, let's stomp. I totally thought it was right foot, left stomp. Anybody else with me on that one? Okay, I'm not the only one, I'm glad. I don't know what I was thinking though. Is that like right foot, left stomp, or like, I don't know. There's no real justification for it. Like I said, I'm single. I said before, I'm still single since then. Just want to see if I could run a couple pickup lines by you guys before I go. Okay, thanks. I learned every Beatles song on tambourine. Even the ones that don't have tambourine. I could probably still ride Heelys if I had a pair. Finally, they say nice guys finish last. That's why they call me Caboose.
All right, let's give it up for Mitch Hedberg. That's a compliment. Awesome. Our next comedian is the glue that holds this sweet and silly club together. It is Madeleine.
On my way up here tonight, I almost got run over by a guy wearing a Do Good Be Better t-shirt. So I don't know what he was like before he bought that. Thank goodness the Ballard Center was there. Who likes current events? Anybody like current events? You guys are in the dark ages. Well, I have an update on everyone's favorite influencer. Yes, the U.S. Board on Geographic Names. They just renamed the infamous Makeout Point, formerly known as Squaw Peak. Yeah, you hear about this? So it has a new name now, which I completely agree with. The old name was a derogatory term. But I have a problem with how they carried it out. They did not give us a pronunciation guide for the new name. The new name is KYHV. Kiev? Kiev? Hive? Kaylee? Is anyone here gluten-free? Woo! Trick question. All humans are naturally gluten-free. Good news for you cannibalistic celiacs out there. Remember when the gluten-free movement was just getting started and it was magical to see gluten-free things? Like gluten-free bread, gluten-free pasta, gluten-free Oreos? They can do that? Gluten was optional this whole time? I used to think pretzels were made out of pure gluten, but no. They found a way to replace it with sawdust. With all these gluten-free options around now, it raises the question, where did the gluten go? I have a bread recipe that uses wheat gluten as an ingredient, so I was trying to buy some, and it was hidden away somewhere. Like, gluten doesn't even want to show its face these days. So I asked an employee, like, hey, where's the wheat gluten? He was like, you a cop? It's like, the gluten-free section is over there. I don't want the gluten-free. I want the gluten. Where did you put the gluten when you took it out of all those Oreos? One thing led to another. I got the guy tied to a chair. What have you done with the gluten? Where are you keeping it? Stakes are high. Walmart security is called in. They flee. The guy's like, I'll never talk. The age of gluten is over. Turns out he didn't actually work there. So I just went home and substituted it with sawdust. I do eat a lot of gluten. Honestly, even as gluten-free options have become more popular, the total human consumption of gluten has probably remained about the same, thanks to my family alone. Voraciously tearing into a loaf of bread was a daily thing for us. In high school, my pre-cross-country snack was just 2 plain slices of bread I'd stick in a Ziploc bag and take on the go. I loved it. For all I know, I could be gluten intolerant, but I haven't been gluten sober for more than 12 hours at a time. I don't know if I feel better without it. Maybe gluten has been slowly killing me. Maybe I'm supposed to be 6 inches taller, with perfect eyesight and a short-term memory. I don't know. Due to a spiral of increasingly poor decisions, I'm currently studying for the GRE. Yeah,
if you don't know, the GRE is the test you take to go to grad school for a career your parents didn't recommend. And what I've learned in my studying is that English has too many words. I want to just take the reins of the English language and hand them to Marie Kondo. Just give her the dictionary. Does this word spark joy? Avaricious? Erase it. Sanguine? Out of here. Schadenfreude? How did that even get in here? Give it back to the Germans. No. Also, the GRE literally tells you that it's trying to trick you. All the test prep books are like, GRE will do this, so you get the answer wrong. Don't trust the GRE. Don't trust anybody. And they're right, because then the GRE is like, oh, you thought you could solve this math problem with math? Sorry. You forgot to hold your scrap paper up to the sun to discover the hidden message telling you that all the answers are wrong. What is this chicanery? 4 people that laugh are also studying for the GRE. There is no responsibility in my life that I take as seriously as, hey, could you watch my stuff for a minute? My senses are heightened. I become intensely, even intimately aware of every human and animal in a half-mile radius. I think I have a maternal instinct. I would do anything for this random person I've never seen before and will never see again. Do I actually remember what their face looks like? No, I do not. Would I hand that stuff over to any random person who walked up to me and said, hey, thanks for watching that? Yes, I would. But would I still die for this individual? Absolutely. If I had somewhere to be, forget it. I will wait hours for them to come back. I will wait at that train station every day for 10 years until my master comes home to claim their Tupperware of spaghetti. I forget my stuff even exists. If some rando, someone just breathed too close to my rando's stuff, I would go feral. But someone could walk off with my entire backpack and I would not notice. I probably need to ask someone to watch my stuff so I can focus on watching my rando's stuff. And just get a little circle of watching going. Neighborhood watch program. I think that selflessness of watching someone else's crap is the purest kind of love. The Greeks called it agape, which is derived from agape, will you watch my stuff? Sometimes I wonder why strangers will just hand me their laptops, wallets, and babies, and then I remember that I look like this. I have the kind of face where if you saw it in a lineup, you would fire the guy who made the lineup. Like, hey, what is this small girl doing here? Yeah, I don't care if the murder weapon has her DNA, fingerprints, and monogrammed name on it. Look at her. She's 14. Get her out of there. We're gonna watch everyone's stuff while we finish. Thanks, guys.
All right. Sorry, I'm just reading. You guys just do your thing. I love that when you were talking about watching a person's stuff, that you were actually just reciting the plot of Hachi, A Dog's Tale. Excellent. Little known fact about Madeleine, she's actually been arrested 3 times on accounts of cannibalistic celiacism, but due to her face, she's never been prosecuted for a single one. All right, before we get on to our last comedian of the night, I want to just make some brief announcements. So we are Humor You. We are the best stand-up comedy club on campus. The only one. We are the best stand-up comedy club on campus. If you're watching the show and thinking, hey, that'd be fun to do, or hey, I'm funnier than the weird skinny dude who kind of vaguely resembles Tom Holland, I dare you. I challenge you to come be funnier than me. We would love that. So come to our practices. We meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. here in the Mazer building, in this auditorium. And yeah, practice with Joe's a workshop, and then you can someday be in one of these shows. So with that, follow us on Instagram. It's @HumorUOfficial. One more time, that's @HumorUOfficial. Okay? Alright. Okay, without further ado, we will pass the time on over to my dimension-hopping friend, who I'm pretty sure is here just to prevent me from ever having children. Alright, Michael!
Dude, I am so sorry. I did not get here in time. Probably shouldn't put it all on Bitcoin, man. That's on me, dude. That's on me. Do you guys remember when iTunes just gave everyone a U2 album? It was like the one you woke up to one day and you're just like, I didn't ask for this. I think this dude remembers this. I don't remember any songs from that album. All I remember was the album cover of two naked men that forced me to confront my personal biases. That thing has haunted me for 8 years. You couldn't delete it. There's no way. Who at Apple has that much power? Was that Steve's dying wish? Like, let's just Oprah the world with a mediocre album, you know? I saw an MP3 player in the wild the other day. For those of you who don't know, MP3 player is the third generation of sound. Before the MP3, we had the CD. Before that was vinyl. Before that, puppets? I don't know what old people did. This dude on the bus had his MP3 player right next to his phone. So I did him a favor. I reached over, unplugged his headphones, boom, right into the phone. Guys, I think he peed himself. When I told him about Spotify, it was like an out-of-body experience. It was like a puppy when its owner comes back from war. It's like all the music in the world for $9.99? I gotta tell my wife, at $12.99 for the both of us? $15.99 for the entire family? Are you kidding me? Imagine still paying $1.29 per song. What a chump! What an absolute egg, man! This dude, couldn't believe it. Could you imagine? It's like, this guy, no wonder he was riding the bus. He was destitute. He blew his daughter's college fund on the new Harry Styles album. The other day, I dialed the extrovert just up to 11, and I said, hey, what you listening to? It's Faye Webster. It's girl music, you wouldn't like it. Like, with that one sentence, I felt the wage gap increase. It was like all of womankind just took a step back. What even is girl music? Does it move you in such a way that you just have to go to Target? Real quick, guys, I want to know, like, after how many dates can you, like, follow someone on Spotify? Because, like, I'm married and I don't think we're there yet. It's like, I'm already so self-conscious about my music. I don't need some random person I met freshman year judging every single emotion I go through. It's Suicide Awareness Month. Oh, no, it's okay. And I think it's really important that we check in with our friends. That's not a joke. That's just best practice, you guys. We should check in with the people we love. Yeah! The way I do it, the way I look after my guys, is I follow them on Spotify. Because if I see one of the boys like rolling through JP Sachs, Olivia Rodrigo, and Adele, I'm gonna call him. Hey man, how we doing? We good? Because your daily mixes say otherwise. I get manic anxiety when I have to take aux. I'll pick just the whitest music you've ever heard. Just insanely beige. Like, no ripples at all. Oh, fits in the tantrums. Okay. Spotify says my most listened to genre is indie pop. How violently Caucasian is that? That's whiter than rapping the first verse of Lose Yourself. That's whiter than saying Macklemore is your favorite rapper. You guys know those people who say, I listen to a little bit of everything? They're lying. It's indie pop. They're just too embarrassed to say it. It's like, oh, a little bit of everything, huh? Is that code for Mr. Brightside? Next time somebody tells you that, call them out. Yeah. There are 70 million songs on Spotify. You mean to tell me that you have listened to a little bit of 70 million songs? Are you 400 years old? Are you Moses? Or are we Dancer? Thank you so much, everybody.
I like so play fits in the tantrums. I had to tie my shoe. I decided to get up here. Thank you so much for coming out to the show.
Whoever's editing this, I hope you got good content from it.